Today's briefing examines recent developments in missile technology and air defense systems, and what these changes signal for the future of global security. The focus is on Iran's advancing missile capabilities and the implications these developments carry for United States' air defense strategy and broader international stability. Over the past 2 decades, Iran has made missile development a cornerstone of its national defense strategy. Confronted with long-standing economic sanctions, restricted access to advanced aircraft, and limitations on importing sophisticated military hardware, Iran pursued an alternative path to deterrence. Rather than competing directly in air power, it invested heavily in indigenous missile production. This approach has proven cost-effective, scalable, and strategically impactful. As a result, Iran now fields a diverse and increasingly capable missile arsenal. This includes short-range, medium-range, and intermediate-range ballistic missiles, alongside cruise missiles and an expanding suite of unmanned aerial systems. While these weapons do not match the most advanced systems operated by major military powers, their steady improvement has fundamentally altered regional security calculations. One of the most significant advances has been in accuracy. Early generations of Iranian missiles emphasized range and payload, but lacked precision, making them primarily psychological or area denial weapons. More recent systems are believed to incorporate improved guidance technologies, including satellite-assisted navigation and terminal guidance mechanisms. Increased accuracy allows these missiles to strike specific military installations, infrastructure nodes, or strategic targets, rather than relying on broad area impact. This shift greatly increases their operational value and complicates defensive planning for potential adversaries. Range expansion is another critical factor. Iran's medium-range ballistic missiles are assessed to be capable of reaching targets across much of the Middle East. This places U.S. military bases, allied facilities, and critical regional infrastructure within potential striking distance. From a strategic perspective, this capability enhances Iran's deterrence posture by raising the prospective costs of military confrontation and increasing the risks associated with escalation. Iran has also made notable progress in cruise missile development. Unlike ballistic missiles, cruise missiles typically fly at lower altitudes and can maneuver during flight, making them more difficult to detect and intercept. Available reporting suggests that Iranian cruise missile designs emphasize terrain-following flight paths and reduced radar signatures. These characteristics shorten warning times and strain air defense systems that were originally optimized for high-altitude ballistic threats. Another defining feature of Iran's missile strategy is its emphasis on quantity and integration, rather than reliance on a small number of highly advanced systems. Iran appears to prioritize mass production and operational flexibility, enabling sustained operations over time. A larger inventory increases the likelihood of overwhelming defensive systems through volume alone. This approach aligns with Iran's broader asymmetric military doctrine, which seeks to offset technological disadvantages by exploiting cost numbers and complexity. The integration of missiles with unmanned aerial vehicles further enhances this strategy. Drones are used for reconnaissance, targeting, electronic interference, and in some cases, direct attack. When coordinated with missile launches, unmanned systems can provide real-time intelligence, assist in targeting, and increase pressure on defensive networks. This integration allows for more complex and synchronized strike patterns, further complicating defensive responses. Taken together, these developments indicate a deliberate and sustained effort to modernize missile capabilities. While Iran's systems remain less advanced than those of leading military powers, their improved precision, expanded range, and diversified delivery methods significantly alter the threat environment. For defense planners, the challenge is no longer limited to intercepting individual missiles, but rather managing a coordinated multi-domain threat. Modern missile and aerial attacks increasingly rely on coordination and saturation rather than isolated launches. Military planners now emphasize tactics designed to stress and overwhelm air defense networks by exploiting their physical and operational limits, including radar coverage gaps, interceptor availability, and response times. A layered attack may involve ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, unmanned systems, and decoys launched simultaneously. Each component serves a specific purpose. Ballistic missiles travel at high speed and altitude, demanding immediate attention. Cruise missiles approach at low altitude from unexpected directions. Drones can gather intelligence, jam sensors, or force defenses to engage lower priority targets. The combined effect is to complicate decision-making rather than to defeat defenses outright. Air defense operators must rapidly assess threats and allocate limited interceptors. As the number of incoming objects increases, the risk of delay or misprioritization grows. Even highly trained personnel operating advanced systems face increasing difficulty under sustained pressure. Saturation tactics also exploit economic asymmetry. Defensive interceptors are expensive and finite, while many offensive systems, particularly drones and short-range missiles, are relatively inexpensive and easy to replace. Forcing defenders to expend high-value interceptors on low-cost threats gradually degrades defensive capacity, especially during prolonged engagements. Electronic warfare further amplifies these challenges. Jamming, spoofing, and cyber interference can degrade radar performance and disrupt communication between sensors and interceptors. Even temporary disruptions can create openings for missiles to penetrate defended airspace. Geography and timing add additional complexity, as attacks launched from multiple directions can exploit coverage gaps and stretch defensive resources. These tactics reflect broader changes in modern warfare. Air defense systems were originally designed to counter limited and predictable threats. Today's environment is far more complex, involving diverse platforms operating simultaneously across multiple domains. This evolution demands continuous adaptation in defensive doctrine, technology, and operational planning. United States air defense systems remain among the most advanced and integrated in the world, the product of decades of investment and operational experience. Ground-based interceptors, naval missile defense platforms, and layered radar networks form a comprehensive architecture designed to protect both the U.S. homeland and deployed forces. However, U.S. defense officials increasingly acknowledge that the threat environment is evolving at an unprecedented pace. Air defense must now contend with low-altitude cruise missiles, maneuverable re-entry vehicles, hypersonic systems, and coordinated multi-vector attacks. Detection presents a growing challenge. Many sensors were optimized for tracking high-altitude ballistic missiles, while newer threats exploit low flight paths, reduce signatures, and unpredictable trajectories. This places heavy demands on sensor fusion, requiring real-time integration of data from satellites, airborne platforms, naval systems, and ground-based radars. Interceptor availability is another constraint. Even the most capable systems have finite inventories and require time to reload or reposition. Sustained attacks can strain coverage, particularly given the global scope of U.S. military commitments. Operational complexity has also increased. Modern air defense relies on automated systems, artificial intelligence, and advanced command and control networks. While these tools enhance response speed, they introduce vulnerabilities related to cyber resilience and secure communications. Protecting these networks is now as critical as intercepting physical threats. Importantly, defense leaders emphasize that these challenges do not indicate declining effectiveness, but rather the need for adaptation. Ongoing efforts include upgrading radar systems, developing next-generation interceptors, improving space-based sensors, and strengthening cooperation with allies. Shared early warning systems and joint defense initiatives extend coverage and distribute operational burdens. Training and doctrine continue to evolve. Exercises increasingly simulate complex, multi-vector attacks to test system resilience and decision-making under pressure. Lessons from real-world engagements and allied experiences are incorporated into planning and procurement. No air defense system, regardless of sophistication, can guarantee complete protection against every possible threat. This reality reflects the fundamental limits of physics, technology, and operational capacity. Air defense is designed to reduce risk and mitigate damage, not to provide absolute security. Each step in the defensive process, detection, tracking, identification, decision-making, and interception, introduces potential limitations. Sensors have blind spots. Interceptors are optimized for specific threat types. Reaction times can be compressed to seconds. Environmental factors, electronic interference, and cyber disruptions can further degrade performance. Historical experience confirms these limits. Even advanced defenses with high success rates have occasionally been penetrated, underscoring the gap between theoretical capability and real-world conditions. Recognizing these limits encourages realistic planning that combines defense with deterrence, diplomacy, and crisis management. The spread and improvement of missile technology are reshaping strategic balance at both regional and global levels. As more states acquire longer range and more accurate missile systems, traditional military advantages are increasingly contested. Smaller or regional powers gain the ability to threaten high-value targets, raising the cost of conflict and complicating escalation decisions. These dynamics affect alliances, deterrence, and arms control. Missile threats cross borders, increasing reliance on collective defense and shared early warning. At the same time, differing threat perceptions among allies can create friction. Arms control efforts face new challenges as emerging systems fall outside existing frameworks and non-state actors blur traditional boundaries. Diplomacy, therefore, becomes both more difficult and more essential. As military options carry greater risk, communication channels, confidence-building measures, and crisis management mechanisms play a critical role in maintaining stability. Ultimately, technological change alters not only capabilities, but perceptions and incentives. As missile systems continue to evolve and proliferate, sustaining strategic stability will depend on a careful balance of military preparedness, alliance coordination, and sustained diplomatic engagement.